So the first thing to do is find the right freestyle boat. So there's lots of different freestyle boats out there that come in lots of different sizes and different generations of freestyle boats. So some will be good for some things and some will be better for others. I'm just going to run through some real key concepts of freestyle boats so you can maybe make a decision between different ones. First of all, one of the things you'll find on all freestyle boats is that it's got a flat hull. So that's when it's on a wave that it can surf and spin freely. On the edge of this flat hull, there'll be sharp rails. That's to help it carve from side to side. And as you become more advanced, will also be what helps you to make the boat fling into the air on a wave. If we look at the side profile, you'll see that it's obviously very short. This is so that it can flip over very easily. Now, slightly older boats might be a bit longer and thinner on the ends. So they're better for sort of cartwheels, tailies and those sorts of moves. They move a bit slower. So when you're learning those moves, it can sometimes be a bit better to go in a longer, slicier boat. It's a little bit easier and slower for you learning the tricks. These shorter ones on cartwheel moves will go much more quickly, but what they are much better at doing is doing the front loop and back loop style moves. The volume around the middle is what gives you the pop into the air. So to help with that pop for the front loop, you sometimes see people adding extra volume by way of either inflatables or sometimes a cover on the front part of the cockpit called an overthruster. Now basically all that's doing is when the front of the boat goes into the water, it's stopping the deck from imploding a little bit, just adding a bit of volume to the kayak just here. Now, in terms of getting yourself set up in a freestyle boat, it's super important that you're well connected. If you're wanting to do 3D moves, you can't be moving around inside the kayak. So inside, you're going to want to make sure you've got good hip padding that's nice and snug on the sides. You also want a good back band that you can adjust. Now, although we want to be snug, we don't want to be so tight that it's restricting our movement. We still need to be able to do full range of movement forwards and backwards and good rotation when we're inside the boat. Now, if we tighten ourselves up too much, then we're going to start affecting how much we can move around to actually get that rotation. Now, because these boats are so small, one of the common complaints is that they're hard on the feet and that people's feet don't fit in there. So try different boats and different shapes. The higher the knee position, the more space you'll have for your legs because your knees will come up, your feet will come back. Now, a lot of people tell me that they can't fit a foot block in the end of their boat. And to those people I say, you should try. Even if it feels like your feet are on the end of the boat and they're against the plastic, there is almost always a bit of space between your feet. And the more area of contact you can get there, the more control you're going to have on your boat and probably the more comfortable you're going to be. If we spread that pressure out, rather than it being on key points of your feet, it is going to be a lot more comfortable to sit in there. Now there's a few different things you can use for that foot block. So you can use a foam block that you cut to shape and try and get as much contact area as possible, or you can use these sort of beanbag things here. So this one's a Jackson one. They come in two parts. I just want to quickly explain how to use one of these. Okay, so this Jackson foot bag comes in two parts, two sections. It has two different tubes here that work for two different sections. This section's like an airbag. Now I recommend not using this section, don't inflate this section. And the reason I say that is because it tends to make it move around and we don't want that. When we're putting pressure on our feet, we want it to transfer into what the boat's doing, not what the thing's doing inside the boat. And then you'll see this beanbag area, it's basically been suction tight, so it's holding its shape at the moment. So if I undo this, it'll come loose and can be reshaped. Now the idea with this is that you mould this to the shape that's going to fit your feet perfectly and then suck all the air out so that it won't move again. And that way you can build yourself the perfect shape foot block that's exactly the right shape for your feet and maybe even offers protection on the outsides of your feet as well as providing a bit of support on the soles of your feet. So the main thing with choosing a freestyle boat is to make sure that you try lots of different styles and sizes. If the boat is too big for you, you're going to really struggle to make it do the things you want, especially on flat water where there's no flow to help you. And if the boat's too small, you're going to find it very unstable. So try lots of different ones and make sure also that the seat is in the correct position. Trim's really important. If the seat's too far back, you'll find that you're tailing too often. And if the seat's too far forwards, then the nose will catch too often. So get someone to watch how the boat is sat when you're sitting on flat water and just make sure it's nicely balanced.